Afternoon, I guess. I'm so glad you're here today. And my name is Trisha Ryan, and we're diving into something that a lot of quality professionals have been waiting for, a smarter, faster way to handle certificate of analysis. Now, if you've ever spent hours opening PDFs manually and entering the data and cross referencing specs for some of the brands you're working on, you can identify with what we're talking about. But before we get going, just little bit of this is roughly 1 hour for our presentation. There, you can certainly put your questions up in the chat box if you have any. And I did want to thank our sponsor, Culture Advisory Group, and their team of seasoned advisors who are dedicated to helping food and beverage entrepreneurs and professionals. And we're really grateful for their support. And now our speaker, I feel like we just did this a week ago, Vera, but Dr. Vera Dickinson is the founder and CEO of InnovaQ, the company behind Clear COA. She's a food safety expert with decades of experience on the ground and in terms of managing and navigating unannounced audits and, yes, opening far too many COAs, PDFs to release shipments, etc. So she's lived the experience, and that's maybe what also helped shape Clear COA, a purpose-built AI platform that automates the entire process from extraction to insight. So I'm going to turn this over to you, Vera. I know you have a presentation. We've got some polls as we go through this. Any questions you have, please put them in your chat box. And at the end of Vera's presentation, there will be a demo. We can come back in and speak to people live. So welcome. Great to have you here today.
Thank you so much for the kind introduction, Tricia. Indeed, I just wanted to mention and reflect back on some of the words that you've mentioned. I spent many years in the industry, and everything that InnovaQ now produces in terms of tools and modernization opportunities for the industry, all of them come and stem back from the experience, not only myself, but our team. We've got incredible expertise on the team, not only from food safety quality and compliance standpoint, regulatory compliance standpoint, but then also engineering as well. So it's a unique combination of beautiful combination, I think, of two fields, and that allows us really to deliver and produce incredible tools. So indeed, today I wanted to talk to you about our latest launch, the product that we lovingly called Clear COA. The reason why we called it this way is because we're really looking into the future. Our ambition is to create really easy to use tools that anyone can afford, and anyone can actually draw clear insights from documentation or data. And as you can see from the name of the tool, Clear COA actually draws clear data from certificates of analysis as part of supplier management and material management programs. So here's what we're going to do today. I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to walk through a few slides, probably 10, 15 or so. And the intent for today was not just to show Clear COA and our latest innovation, but really to talk also and educate maybe a little bit this audience on AI and how it's used currently in the and applied for the purpose of compliance management, supplier management, or operations management. So it's going to be a nice mix of something I hope you leave with, some learnings. And then also we're going to deep dive into the demo. And I will show to you how easy it is to not only to obtain the product, Clear COA product, but connect your data to it in a safe and, like I said, easy way. And start enjoying your data that all of us, we know, have plenty of. So with this said, let me share my screen, and we are going to walk through the materials. All right. Trisha, can you see my screen?
I can.
Okay, perfect. So today, As mentioned, we're going to talk about our latest innovation, Clear COA, all for the purpose that InnovaQ is really working hard for the purpose of modernization of quality management systems, in this case, supply quality management systems. All right, so a few components for today. So to lay out expectations, let's talk a little bit about the challenges that we face currently with manufacturers. There's going to be a couple of questions that we're going to ask the audience to respond to. We'll do a short poll. And then also we're going to share some insights that we've obtained from the industry as well when we released our recent survey. Second, we're going to talk about the era of AI that is upon us. And let's talk a little bit about what this technology is all about and how it's used right now in food safety and quality. And then we're going to deep dive in our tech, Clear COA, and its demo. Of course, at any point, please throw your questions in the chat, and Tricia is going to be monitoring them, and then I will be happy to respond to all of your questions at the end of the presentation. So, in order for us to kind of understand the current challenge, we wanted to ask you a couple of questions. And in your webinar interface, you will have a poll section. So I will ask you to respond to this first question. If an auditor asked you to pull every COA for a specific test or a specific material or a specific lot for the last 6 months, how long would it take you? Under 1 hour, several hours, several days, or you won't be able to find this information at all? Tricia, since I do not see the screen, can you please tell me when to ask the next question?
Looks like it's a hard question. People aren't answering it, so why don't we try?
Yeah, I know that some of you may not be working for a manufacturer, so think about either your prior experiences, or maybe if you are a consultant, maybe you are working with the common kind of an average client of yours. Still no answers?
So no, it looks like it's the several days.
Several days, all right. Now, how confident would you be, are you, that every COA is consistently reviewed against your specifications? Every COA that you get, that it's reviewed against your specs. Are you confident, somewhat confident, or it depends on material, not confident?
So there I'm getting depends on supplier and not confident. 66% not confident.
All right. So we're closing the poll, right? Thank you so much for all of you who responded. Thank you for this. Here's what we found from the industry. So in last month, we released a survey, and we actually had a number of responses, and it was an incredible discovery for us because it really connected the dots with what we see with our clients. And so the industry members coming from different leaders, coming from variety of different industries, as well as cross-functional teams, all mentioned that they have the following challenges. Number one, COAs come to them ordinarily in emails or lab portals, but the majority of the time emails, and they come to them in multiple formats. And it takes, because of the different formats, it takes folks between 5 to 30 minutes of manual assessment review per COA. On top of it, once you receive and review the COA, folks actually have to either duplicate the entry, the data into a spreadsheet, or in many cases, they don't do anything at all with the COA. And as you can imagine, the data sits trapped in that PDF now, sitting in somebody's folder. As a result of this manual processing, we see that an average manufacturer actually will spend close to $180,000 per year on labor costs, and still will not have the analytics that in our positions we benefit dramatically from. And so the data continues to sit in PDFs, and you have failures that slip through without your knowledge. So as a result, not only the failures get slipped through, but quality teams are just inundated in this manual work instead of focusing on value-added activities. And then, of course, during audits or during, God forbid, a recall, you have to make quick decisions, and you've got incomplete data to make decisions on. So it's a big problem for the industry. And so, of course, as you know, AI right now is the technology of the day, and it promises to solve this issue. So let's talk a little bit about AI as a whole. AI is here to stay. We live in the AI-driven revolution, and very soon, every single device that you will have in your fingertips will have some level of AI modification within it. So we're here, and whether we want it or not, it's going to continue to drive our life. What's interesting about this technology is that it's the fastest growing technology ever recorded, right, in our history. If you see this graph, it's very interesting. Netflix, that we enjoy so much, actually took them 3.5 years to reach a 1 million user mark. For ChatGPT, it took them only 5 days. I actually very vividly remember 2025 when ChatGPT released their first model for public, and I remember being blown away with the technology. And I never stopped using large language models since that day. It's pretty amazing technology. So a few words about how AI is used today for the application of food safety and quality. And it's very interesting. When you look at data, we actually see that when a common user is being asked, do you use AI, or tell me what is AI? The majority of people associate AI with large language models, with ChatGPT, with Claude, with Gemini. Reality of it is that AI has many different components, subcomponents, that we have been using for decades now. So if you look at machine learning, computer vision, you've seen it in your manufacturing facilities for many years. We analyze historical data with, statistical processing, computer vision, right, scanning of your products on the line and detecting quality issues. I mean, we've been doing it for years and years. Now, what's new is that we now have natural language processing, which is large language models, right, that now help us understand a variety of different regulatory requirements, help us write SOPs, maybe interpret different compliance rules for different scenarios. We actually at InnovaQ have developed a really incredible tool that uses this technology to help people navigate really global regulatory requirements. We'll talk about it in a second. The other four, deep learning, cognitive computing, and neural networks, is something that we have been using. There's some bits and pieces of this technology being deployed to manage risk and compliance, but it's a little bit more complicated kind of setup. At InnovaQ, we definitely use these different AI technologies, but it's not a common application. These types of technologies require a lot of customization, a lot of data cleaning in order for them to work really, really well. But in summary, think about a food safety and quality subject matter expert, and think of AI mimicking the decision making that an expert would be doing. Or think of a very complex data set and think about advanced detection methodologies or analysis of trends. So that's where this technology sits. So quite complex, more expensive than, say, these three types on the right-hand side. So AI is no longer futuristic. We have been using this technology, and in my opinion, this is the only future that food safety and quality will be looking at. No questions asked. We're gonna continue to kind of poke at all these capabilities and deploy them for masses to utilize. That's actually exactly what the InnovaQ was structured to do, was founded to do. We wanted to take this modernized technology and put it in the hands of everyone within the industry, so that the cost would not be a barrier to use. The difficulty of deployment, change management, all those things that are widely associated with IT projects, we're removing. So even a smaller startup, medium-sized manufacturer can easily lean into this technology and start benefiting from it almost right away. So in InnovaQ, we actually have a few different areas of how we modernize food safety, quality, and compliance. Number one, we play within the data analytics space and cognitive analytics, as well as mentioned, as well as more complex data analytics space. We connect basically the dots across your supply chain, connect your data in one product, and it allows us to build predictive analytics, provide to you insights on your performance across your supply chain in real time. Also, if something happens, you can instantaneously understand root causes of an issue. Really sophisticated process. The product that we've built associated with data analytics is called Quality Performance Forecast. It's remarkable, and if you have more questions after the meeting, I will be happy to schedule a meeting and walk you through it. The second space and gap that we're trying to address is, or have been successfully addressing, it's better to say, is natural language processing. So it's probably a challenge that any one of us, any person who lived through compliance daily activities would be really interested in. The challenge that we're addressing is that regulatory requirements are incredibly tedious, very difficult to understand, and they change depending on the product or material that you are working with, or different process or different conditions. And so to kind of understand this maze of regulatory framework, we built this product called the InQ Knowledge Center. It helps you navigate through this web and understand how you cross-functionally can deploy or implement your requirements in your activities, cross-functional activities. Finally, we have a ton of requests coming from medium-sized manufacturers who are quickly growing, related to automation of their manual processes. And we actually have a ton of requests coming from not only quality, supplier quality in particular, but operations and quality operations, as well as procurement and R&D. And one of the big challenges that people have is that they're inundated with a ton of documents, and the manual processing, either of invoices or we're talking today COAs, right, or supplier materials that need to be evaluated. It's ridiculous. So what happens today is that we would be hiring a whole bunch of really expensive experts to sit down and at their computer analyze these documents manually. But AI actually enables us to automate this process and make it much more efficient and actually save us on accuracy, and the demonstrated performance of AI solutions that we've developed is just remarkable. So without further ado, let's talk about the product that we've kicked this whole thing off with. Let's talk about Clear COA. And as mentioned, it kind of manages the and addresses the challenge that we spoke at the very beginning of our call, which discussed about the challenges that of manual processing of a whole bunch of PDFs coming to us from suppliers. So we built this product, and in a second I'm going to show you what it looks like. And it has a number of different features. So let's walk through them first, and then we'll see them come to life. First of all, you can automatically upload PDFs, COAs sitting in PDFs when you connect to your inbox or you connect to your folder. You can actually process hundreds of COAs within minutes. It's remarkable. And once you do, you will see that, and I'll demo it, you will see that every result actually comes to life, and the product compares the results sitting within your PDF to the spec. And so this way you can get pass-fail result flagged to you instantaneously. You also, as the data comes into your into the application, you will see supplier performance come to life as well in real time. So now you can actually trend and see how different suppliers perform, how different materials perform, how different lots within the same material type perform. So there's a lot of opportunity for you to now really address high risks or some sort of differences in performance. You can also, not only the information sits within the application itself, but you actually can extract it really easily and then share it with a supplier or with your cross-functional partner, whoever. We're really proud to say that when we performed the validation study, which was very complex, we actually received an incredibly high percent of accuracy that the product pulls your data from the COAs and then uploads it into the application. So net, you've got information available to you within seconds. You've got very near zero error rate. It's extremely easy to start and come to life. And of course, as we already discussed, enterprise level security was something that just comes with any one of our tools, including this product. And so IT organization will be able to have this information and assess this security levels as well very easily. So let me tell you a little bit about how this product works. I know I've had a lot of questions about this, and I thought it would be a good education session as to how this whole thing actually comes to life. Well, imagine that your COAs, right? Your COAs is sitting in PDFs. Sometimes they come in images. You may have some of the results coming in graphs, tables. Sometimes we even see handwritten notes. We have technology called agentic document extraction. We've got specific models that actually are capable of reading the text coming in from variety of different formats and documents. This information that is pulled from PDFs gets structured in the format that now the machine, AI, large language model, can actually recognize and accurately work with it. So once the information is extracted, read, and parsed, right, and then goes through a transformation step. This is where the data actually gets normalized. The system actually recognizes what is the date, what is the type of task, and other attributes that you task AI to recognize. And then this information now comes to the user in a structured form and also in the form of a dashboard and visualization. As mentioned, incredibly high level of accuracy because we're not using off-the-shelf technology like OCR. You probably have heard of that, widely used. We are using a very specific purpose-built models for this specific application, and this is how we're achieving this high level of accuracy. I also wanted to mention that a number of these steps, if, for example, the basic version of Clear COA that you will see today has basic versions of the dashboard or reporting structure of the data, but you can absolutely work with InnovaQ to customize this if you want a little bit more sophistication on your dashboard. Finally, like mentioned, what we love about this product, you will not have to actually pull IT resources or any other resources from your internal groups to enjoy the benefits of this product, and it's a huge deal for us, as you know. This is the last bit of education that I'm going to provide to you today, but it's really important, and I hope you maybe take a snapshot of this so for your future utilization. And this covers not only Clear COA or any other products that InnovaQ builds. But this is important because you should recognize that AI tools used for the purpose of compliance management and risk management have to go through a level of governance that right now in food and beverage is not audited, but will be eventually. We see a number of actually action plans or requirements coming from EU related to AI. Also, FDA issued an AI action plan for medical device industry. And there are a number of recommendations coming from really reputable sources like GFSI or TIC Council that provide to companies a framework of what type of attributes that an AI tool should have in order for you to safely and ethically have a safe and ethical tool at your fingertips, right, for the use of compliance. And so these attributes are on this slide. And this is exactly what we follow as we build our products. Number one, and it's like a bottom line, most important thing that you will have to remember. Any AI tool, as sophisticated as it is, as beautiful as it is only a tool. It's not the final decision maker. So your experts will have to be in the loop to make the final decision. So that also is relative to Clear COA. All the data is there, it's accurate, but the decision as to what to do with the supply or material is in your hands. Number two, in our case, if you think about Clear COA, we needed clear traceability to be a regional sourced COA. So you will see that every one of our extracted values links back directly to the source, and it's the sources are going to be right at your disposal at any point. Number 3, the compliance requirements, and if you think about FSMA as well as other GFSI requirements, all are kind of going in the risk-based quality management direction. So this product really allows you to now see trends and focus on failures first, instead of kind of spreading your energy thin and evaluating everything. So Clear COA really fits in that risk-based quality management structure. Data integrity and auditability is related to not only having the preserved originally sourced documents, but also is important when GFSI or FDA or a customer inspects your facilities and asks you questions about Clear COA. You actually can provide all the data to the auditors really easily. Number 5, when we build our products and when you buy an AI product from a vendor, you've got to ask questions about how they've adopted and build that tool responsibly. What I mean by that is, did they evaluate models? Did they have an expert, food safety or compliance expert, in the loop during development? And you should be asking about validation studies. All of these are available to you for Clear COA, of course. And we very take this very seriously. And of course, security is just the bottom line, most important feature that allows you to enter the market. So I've mentioned to you already, IT package, like review package, is available for Clear COA at any point. So with that, I would love to move to demo. Tricia, I will ask you, can you please see if there are any questions before we move to the demo?
One here that asks about, does Clear COA reduce the risk of false positives or overlooked compliance issues?
100%. You will see how it does it right now in about a second. But I mentioned to you about accuracy. Actually, let me go back to this. And do you see how the statement, it says exceeds human performance? Actually, when we looked at the studies on human performance, so when technical information is being reviewed by experts, it's unfortunate that I cannot talk to the audience, but I would ask you a question. Guess what level of mistake an expert normally makes? And studies show that percent of mistake is between 4 to 8%.
Wow.
So imagine all the false positive results, issues that are associated with just improper read of the data. The machine actually does a superior job in bringing the information from your COAs into the platform with incredible accuracy.
So you also mentioned there's not really any heavy IT involvement.
Mm-hmm.
And so when, is this like the way I download an app and I'm up and running?
Yeah.
What essentially happens in that first week?
Well, let's show how it all works. Let's go through the demo and I will show you how the steps. It's incredibly easy. We made it foolproof. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So actually, I will bring you to our new website. InnovaQ just launched a new website, so it's innovaqual.com. Please feel free to explore it. It will talk a lot about the challenges that we're solving, and then the products. In the products section, you will see Clear COA's kind of page. So click on it. When you come to this page, you would be able to not only read a lot about what the product does, how it analyzes the data. If you're having doubts in terms of, well, do I need it? throw some of your numbers in the ROI calculator. It's pretty remarkable. You will see how much money you spend today on COAs, manually processing COAs, versus how much time you would be saving. So it's worth an exploration. The website is pretty cool. But when you go here, right, at the entry, you will have this button called See How It Works. You'll click on it. So here are the steps that you will follow. First of all, this application is published in Microsoft space, and it directly connects you to your Microsoft account, or if you're a Google user, your Google account. So I'm actually, our InnovaQ sits on there. We utilize Google interface. So I would be choosing as a user Google interface. So when I click on it, it would actually take me to the, the common steps, like here's my Google email, and then I click through the steps. So once I do that, I'm safely logged into the interface. Yours is going to be empty, right? So you're already in. So it's 3 steps, you're in the tool. Yours is going to be empty because right now your data is not there. So step number 1, you're going to go in the settings, manage connections, and each one of you will be given a unique email address over here. This one is, so you will have probably the name of your company as a first step, and then clear COA mail, innovaqual.com. So our company, InnovaQ, InnovaQual, is at the beginning. So I can copy this unique to me address, and I can forward all of my COAs over to this address. That's the simplest way of connecting your data. And once you forward all that data into this inbox, your data will come to life in this application. If you don't like that method, which by the way, IT organizations prefer because it's the least, so the application would not have access to any of your data, any additional data, right? So it's coming to us versus us going to your system to pull it out. But if your IT wants to grant us consent and access to your inbox directly where COAs go in, we can also do that. If you have your COAs maybe sitting in the SharePoint drive, we can connect to that, or Google Drive. Super easy to do, right? So you just provision it, and IT literally only is required if you are not using the recommended step of forwarding email, your COAs to this inbox. You can also, if you do not want to do any of this, you've got, by the way, as you enter the application, you have an ability to upload 10 documents for free to play with the application and see if you like it. So you actually can come here and you can upload the 10 COA for free manually. Once you do, the dashboard will come to life. So play with it. It's exciting. So you can see that we've actually preloaded some sample COAs already. So if I go into my view data tab, this data comes to life structured. Within seconds, it will start loading here. You've got a variety of different attributes that the data will be extracted against, right? So our AI tool will be looking at the manufacturing date with the product type, with the customer, and all so on and so forth. Each one of these columns actually is filterable. So when you have tons of information here, hundreds, our clients have thousands upon thousands of COAs sitting here. If they have a certain situation related to supplier, they can just come here and look for a material or for a supplier very easily, right? So their data can be filtered. You see your information here, right? You can also, what we've noticed is that within COAs, the machine will extract whatever is within the document, that high precision. But in some cases, labs will make human error and will say something, will make a typo. And if the typo is there and you want to change it, you can actually change it here. And then any change will be recorded in the audit trail. In a second, I will show you what that looks like. Let me walk you through these most important information sitting under result and then specs. So the result, pass or fail, will be read against what is the value that was presented in the COA and what was the specification. And so you will see that here you can easily look at all of your failed results, clear filters. So actually, let me go back to the fails. And you can see what's going on. Like you see that the specification was 001396, and the actual value of NIR spectra was higher. And this is why the system read it as fail. You actually have the ability to get back directly to the COA and see if that's accurate when you do your verification studies, right? Once a quarter, we will ask you to do that. So to continue to have documentation that you're using a proper AI tools that are giving you information, accurate information. But you will see here that you can actually go through for the data and find the actual result. Here's the actual result, right? That was read as I think it was this one. Maybe not. Let me see. Let me go back. There's a lot of this is counted, by the way, as one document. Yeah, and our. I'm so sorry. Can you hear me right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm so sorry. My.
Can't hear you now, Vera.
Trisha, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you. So in the example that you've just given us, you have a specification for a brand you're working on. In this case, maybe it was a supplement product. So it looks like one of the suppliers doesn't meet it. You're able to go back to their original paperwork and identify, is there a variance or, and can then the person in R&D or the quality role then say, that's okay, that variance is permitted, and then they can still be a supplier? Or is this, you have to go back and have them fix their product to meet your specs? So your sound's off.
Trisha, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Try and explain to 11-year-old not to call. So this is an excellent question. So this is precisely why we're actually giving you the opportunity to change your values. So say you have a quality result that is very close to what you consider a pass, and you want to change your failure. You want to change the result to pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this case, I just changed it, but in my trail, I will see that right now is 12:44 immediately, May 13th. The system actually registered it and keeps track of these changes. Why is it important? Is because traceability, right? And change management that you can demonstrate to your auditing body, but then also you can see, because this interface, we do not charge people per seat. So anybody within your organization will, if whoever you decide that will have access,
can freely use this tool, and so that if somebody has provisions to change this data, then you will be able to see who did it and why they did it, what was changed.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, great question. So finally, let's look at the insights and what our dashboard looks like. So the dashboard kind of synchronizes, is connected to the entire data set, and it looks at the at all the data and gives you, as I mentioned, basic visualization that eventually, if you are interested in making it a lot more sophisticated, reach out to NovaQ. We can work with you to bring more attributes to this dashboard. But so far, you will be able to, on a daily basis, see your how many COAs you've received, what was your failure rate. You can actually understand where failures are coming from. The filters will allow you to select your your suppliers maybe that of interest. So if you go into procurement, say governance meeting, or products, you want to see this information in a visual form. All of our dashboards are interactive. So why it's important is from this dashboard, you actually can get to the real data. So say your failure rates, you've got 3 tests that are failed. I can double click on it and I will get directly into the results, right? And see what is happening here, which ones are off bounds. I can also do the same thing by clicking on this button and I will get directly to the result. I can look at the COA as well. Supplier performance is also at your fingertips, right? You see like the who's performing well and who may not very well, and weekly trends as well. So you have all the basic opportunities, like the basic visualization for you to keep in touch with performance in real time. Okay. I think we've walked through all of the major features. As you can see, the interface is very simple and it allows you to kick off your analytics right away.
So then, Vera, do people export this information to regulators or certifying bodies, or is it an internal document?
So I actually, thank you so much. I actually did not show you this one feature. So imagine I clear all of my filters. Say I have a procurement colleague who wants to have a snapshot of performance for a particular supplier. I actually can do a couple of things. I can either send him this link, and because she or he is a part of your same organization, they can actually go inside of this and of this tool and manipulate this on their own, access this data on their own. Or you can actually go here, select the needed information, and then export this data in a CSV, and then share the table with either, like you said, an external party or internal party. So you do have export data opportunity.
And then you mentioned, I think, trend detection feature. How far back can you go? Is this just as far back as the documents you have, or?
Yeah. So you can, great question as well. You can go back with your calendar and find the right time frame of interest, and then you can see your trends back to however many years you want to go back to. Yep.
And then let's say you flag out a spec or something. Does the system tell you what's wrong, or you can figure it out? You know what your specs are, or does this?
Yeah, you just double click on it, and then you can go in and open your COA and see what's going on. It's as simple as that.
Very
You
cool.
can understand. You can understand it, and then If you consider it not a failure, you change the result, audit trail will reflect it, you're done.
So if I'm a quality director listening today,
Mhm.
and I want to make this case internally to adopt or use your program,
Mhm.
what would be some of the, one data point or an argument tends to move the needle with my leadership that we should be involved with this?
Excellent questions you're asking. So I would do the following. I would go into our website, as mentioned, innovaqual.com. I'd go to Clear COA website and I scroll down. I've showed this to you. I would put the data around our current process. So how many COAs we process today? What is the average time? How many people actually do this work? Their average cost, labor costs per hour. And then I would bring this data over to my boss to say, hey, we're spending ridiculous amount of money on manually processing this. Not only we're doing it manually, we also have zero access to analytics. And by the way, companies get cited as a non-compliance attribute for in many cases. So it's a compliance issue and a risk for the company, right? So this website gives you a lot of ammunition to go to your boss with. Also, you will find information on security, on success stories, the security actual. Wait, let me find this here.
So give me a success story.
Yeah, let's look at this data. First of all, success story. Our biggest client, so it's a medium to large size manufacturer, had 5 administrators who looked at hundreds of COAs manually. And what happened 2 years ago, they hit a recall. And they needed to go through their COAs, the folders of COAs, to find information related to a specific material lot number. And they couldn't. And they got cited for it as a critical nonconformance. They started to frantically look for a tool that would allow them to process COAs. And there are very few out there on the market, and none of them actually are linked with, number one, high accuracy numbers, and number two, they're not flexible enough to accept different formats that they had of COAs coming from different suppliers and co-meds. So we actually gave them, they came live with thousands of COAs processed within 2 weeks. And so they went back to the auditor and of course to their CEO to say, hey, we've got this fixed. This is now you've got live data, ability to access it within seconds. And risk management controls are all there now. So that was incredible.
So then I know that we've talked about, you've worked on different AI applications throughout this food safety area. And when you had that kind of success story, was that the one that got you into realizing this is something that could be a runaway success for food brands? It's just an awareness issue now.
It's interesting. So for us, it happened that multiple clients of ours came to us almost within the same time frame with the same problem. And so we started poking around and started asking more and more manufacturers, because I also was looking back at my experience, and for some odd reason, I thought it was relatively unique to the company that I worked with.
Mm-hmm.
But then as we started surveying the industry, we realized that it's a much more prevalent issue. And this is what prompted us to move from a customized, application that we built for our clients to a basic version that is affordable, that is easy to install. And so we really wanted to deliver this to masses because it's the problem for smaller to medium-sized manufacturer mostly.
That's interesting. That's great. So now if people want to learn more, you've identified, then go to the site. The test run that you walked us through, no promo codes or anything. They just can have access.
They just have access. They have access to 10 to the opportunity to upload 10 COAs for free.
Okay.
Before they commit to a tier. And
Perfect.
the tiers and the pricing is linked to the amount of COAs that you process per month. So you can start with a small tier, see how it works, and then you'll be amazed.
Great. And so I see their support@innovaqual.com is where people can reach out if they have questions, etc.
Yes, and also all the information is on our website. This, by the way, the slide is kind of like how to take care of the tool once you receive it. There are a few steps. One of them is we continuously work on updates. So you will have the dedicated support team that if you have any questions, will help you. But then also we're constantly looking at the latest technology and upgrading the systems so you have the latest and the most modernized way of analyzing COAs. We also ask for teams to do a quarterly verification of information and document it, again, because the future audits are coming. And so your document trail will be very handy when you have that first question popping. And then I mentioned to you that once you sign up, we're not going to nickel and dime you for how many people access the system. So anybody will have access within your organization. It's secure. And then do remember that this is only a first step to your supplier management. So you can grow this system to the entire supplier performance platform that is much more flexible than what you see alternatives on the market. So try this first feature. You like it, come to us and we can optimize that same tool and grow it to something a lot more sophisticated. So here's the information. If you're interested in learning more, please reach out, email, login information, website, and give us a buzz if you have more questions.
Well, that was a very insightful and valuable session. And I know I have a lot of small brands that I do mentor and work with culture. So I'm going to be more than happy to pass this information on. And we did record the session, so that's great for everyone. So thank you very much, Vera, for this presentation and for sharing some of this thinking with everyone. It's so amazing what AI is doing when it's used in a positive. Yes. So I want to thank everyone for joining us today. And if you want to explore the product, Vera's given you the contact points. I want to thank Culture Advisory Group and InnovaQ for pulling this together. And it's been a pleasure and have an amazing afternoon. Thanks again.
Thank you so much for hosting us. Thank you. Okay, goodbye.
Bye.